Hi, I'm Allison Mesita. The unit I created for my first graders is called Latinx Art, Past to Present. I teach at a Spanish immersion elementary school in Arlington, Virginia. About half of my students are first or second generation American and are from Central and South America. Most of my learners speak Spanish at home. The other half of my student population is at the school to learn to speak Spanish. In the equity training that I've done over the past few years, it has become very clear that a lot of our art and artist examples used in the art room and museums in the past have not been diverse. I created this Latinx unit so that my Hispanic students will have an opportunity to see their reflection in the artists we study and be more likely to feel a connection to the art we are making. In each of my 4 lessons, my students will get a brief art history lesson at the start of the lesson, as well as a new Virginia standard, such as lines and shapes, and they will learn to implement the standard each day, and then they will have a lot of time to create their art. Our art periods are 35 minutes long. I have my first graders in the last 2 periods of each day. They have never been in a standard classroom until now, and all of my students have a difficult time focusing at that time of day. We will have 4 Latinx art lessons. The first one will be Amate art, the second one, Mola art, the third one, Sugar Skull art, and the fourth one will be a modern unit called Collage art. In the Amati art, we will learn about traditional Amati bark paper, how it's made, and then the kids will be able to create their own Amati inspired art. They can draw a bird or any kind of animal they want, and then we'll create the scene with pencil, marker, and oil pastels. And we'll be using recycled grocery bags to imitate the look of the bark paper. In our Mola art unit, students will learn about traditional Mola art from Panama and create their own Mola inspired with colorful construction paper, and they can draw animal or plant, and then they'll trace and cut it out. And my students really need to work on their fine motor skills, so all of these lessons include a lot of cutting and drawing and gluing. And our third unit will be Sugar Skull art. They'll learn about the history of Dia de los Muertos and sugar skulls in Mexico, and they'll have the opportunity to start by tracing if they need to, or they can draw freehand. But I will definitely have some scaffolding ready for kids that aren't ready to just draw on their own. The tools that they'll be using are crayons, scissors, construction paper, glue, copy paper. And the fourth unit we'll be doing is collage art, and the students will be introduced to the Latinx artist Arturo Herrera. I really like using him as an example because in a video that I'll be showing, he talks about how when he started as an artist, he had no money to buy materials, and so he would use magazines or thrown out paper to create his collages. And it's just nice for the kids to have an example of an art form that is not expensive. And also, I'll be showing them a piece of his artwork that is selling for around $15,000. So it's just kind of a fun lesson where they can dream a little bit. So the students will be telling a story with the collage that they make. Most of my students aren't reading yet, and so I'll be reading and repeating the expectations several times. They'll have specific things that they need to do, but the rest of it will be broad. And then their final assessment will be the product that they turn in at the end of the lesson. I really want my students to become excited and engaged in Latinx art. I think they'll love all the bright colors and fun subjects. Um, my other goal is to create mirrors for my Latinx students that they may not have seen in the past. I'd like to foster their creativity. I want them to learn and refine their fine motor skills. And I want them to have fun interacting with art history and culture.